Browns fans have just been rocked by a development that's sparking serious conversation. I'm going to unpack every detail for you firsthand, but before we dive in, hit that like button and stick with me because this could redefine the Browns' entire trajectory. Here's the headline. Two-time Pro Bowl cornerback Jaire Alexander is officially a free agent. The Green Bay Packers have severed ties, and now the question on every Browns fan's mind isn't just if he'll land somewhere quickly, but whether Cleveland should pounce on the opportunity. Buckle up, because this decision could transform the franchise's destiny. And yes, I'm about to break down exactly why. According to Jeremy Fowler, the Packers' move wasn't just about on-field performance. It was about cost, injury history, and attitude. That's the harsh reality of the NFL. Now, the Browns, who boast Denzel Ward as a stalwart of reliability and have two other corners still striving to prove themselves, are staring at a golden opportunity. You might be wondering, is Alexander worth the gamble? Is he a good fit for Cleveland? I ask myself the same questions, until the numbers started painting a compelling picture. Let's talk turkey. The Browns' cornerback room isn't dreadful, but it's far from elite. Denzel Ward is untouchable, a legitimate CB. Beyond him, Martin Emerson shows promise and Greg Newsome flashes potential, but neither has consistently given you that lockdown confidence week in and week out. But drop Alexander's name into the mix, and suddenly everything changes. Alexander is a corner with elite ball skills and some of the best recovery speed in the game. His ability to rebound mid-rat is a rarity. When healthy, he performs at a Pro Bowl level. Just look at his 2022 campaign. 56 tackles, 14 pass deflections, 5 interceptions. These are the hallmarks of a shutdown cornerback, no debate. But here's the catch. Consistency has been elusive. He played only 4 games in 2021, 7 in 2023, and 2020 was no different. His only fully healthy stretch came in 2022. That's the risk profile. And then there's the financial reality. Alexander commands a premium salary, $21 million, 0 cents per year, making him one of the highest paid corners in the league. Worse still, last season, none of that was guaranteed. The Packers didn't trust his availability enough to commit. So why should the Browns? Because, Browns fans, sometimes you bet on talent, sometimes you bet on upside. This defense has the skeleton of a championship caliber unit. The defensive line is elite. The secondary is one key piece away. Add Alexander, and suddenly you've got a fearsome CB tandem. Ward on one side, Alexander on the other. That's a coverage nightmare for opposing offenses. Financially, it's not a no-brainer. Cleveland's current cap space sits around $18,100,000, 0 cents. Just shy of Alexander's price tag. But here's where it gets interesting. Greg Newsome's 2025 cap hit is $13,370,000, 0 cents. Trade Newsome, free up space, and suddenly you're working with over $30 million, 0 cents in cap flexibility. You could sign Alexander to a 1-year prove-it deal, manage your risk, and potentially supercharge your secondary. Let's be honest, Newsome has had his share of blown coverages. He's not the worst corner by any means. But if you're asking which player gives the Browns the best shot to lock down the AFC's top receivers, the answer is Jaire Alexander. 10 times out of 10. Now let's flip the coin. Does Alexander even want to come to Cleveland? Interest is sky high. Sources say the Cowboys, Ravens, 49ers, Dolphins, and Vikings are all circling. These aren't bottom feeders. They're legitimate playoff contenders seeking that final piece in their secondary. But don't discount Cleveland. Here, Alexander wouldn't just be another piece in the puzzle. He'd be the piece. The game changer. The centerpiece of a defense that already wreaks havoc in the trenches. Slide him in next to Denzel Ward, shift Emerson into the slot, and now you've got versatility, depth, and a unit that can take on anyone. That's how you rattle Mahomes. That's how you shut down Joe Burrow. That's how you make a deep playoff run. This move isn't simple. It's not a guarantee, but it's absolutely possible. and the upside is monumental. It's the kind of signing that elevates the entire defense and hands the front office a victory that reverberates all the way to the postseason. So now I'm turning the question over to you. Should the Browns make this move? Go after Jair Alexander? Could this be the piece we've been missing, or is the risk simply too steep? Drop your take in the comments right now. Let's delve deeper into this scenario. If Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski decide to pull the trigger and bring Jair Alexander to Cleveland, the message is crystal clear. They're doubling down on defense. They're reinforcing the very identity that has defined this team in the post-Baker era. If Deshaun Watson's return to elite form remains uncertain, this front office might be declaring, fine, we'll win with defense, and we'll do it better than anyone else. Picture it. Week 1, 2025. The defense lines up with Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith wreaking havoc on the edges, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah flying around as a heat-seeking missile in the middle, Denzel Ward locking down one sideline, and on the other, Jair Alexander. That's no longer just a good unit, that's championship caliber. You can feel it, the statement it sends to every AFC offense. You're not going to out-scheme us. You're not going to slice us up with quick passes, and you're not going to get comfortable. That's how you win playoff games in Buffalo. That's how you neutralize Miami's speed and Baltimore's unpredictability. That's how you beat Kansas City, by keeping Mahomes guessing, harassed, and covered. Let's revisit the trade mechanics. Yes, parting ways with Greg Newsome would sting for some fans, a former first-round pick who's made his share of plays. But this is where the cold, calculated side of roster building takes over. Newsome's $13,370,000 0-cent cap hit in 2025 isn't a luxury if he's not consistently performing at a high level. If you can flip that cap space into an elite talent like Alexander, even on a short-term deal, the math makes sense. A one-year contract mitigates long-term risk and maximizes the team's win-now window. Rarely do you get the chance to upgrade a premium position like cornerback without surrendering draft picks. Alexander is a street free agent. No trade compensation, no draft capital. That's a rare opportunity, and at just 27 years old, he's still in his prime. Of course, it all hinges on one critical factor: health. This is the X factor you can't ignore. You don't miss 20-plus games in 3 seasons by accident. Alexander's shoulder has been a consistent issue, and once the injuries pile up, the red flags fly high. That's where the Browns' medical staff and front office must do their due diligence. They need to be absolutely convinced he can stay on the field for the majority of the season. But let's not pretend the Browns haven't made big bets before. Remember the skepticism surrounding the Deshaun Watson trade? The team pulled the trigger, controversial as it was, because they believed in the upside. This is different, yes, but the principle is the same. If you believe a player gives you a legitimate shot at winning big, you take the swing. You live with the consequences. Then there's the locker room dynamic. Jair Alexander is vocal, he's challenged teammates, called out coaches, and pushed boundaries. But that edge, that fire, might be exactly what this Browns secondary needs, as long as it's harnessed. Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator, has navigated big personalities before. He's the type of coach who thrives on fire, not fear. He could be the perfect mentor to channel Alexander's passion into production. Meanwhile, fans are divided. Social media is buzzing. Some want to keep the current core intact: Newsome, Emerson, Ward. Others see a chance to strike and want Berry to go for it. And you can't blame either side. But the deeper you look, the more you realize opportunities like this are rare. The cap is manageable. The talent is undeniable. The need is real. We've seen what happens when the Browns let bold moves pass them by, and we've seen what happens when they pounce on the right one. This could be that moment. The moment Cleveland takes a daring swing and puts the AFC on notice. Because this isn't just about adding depth. It's about forging dominance. If the Browns land Jair Alexander and he stays healthy, you're looking at a defense that could lead the league, if not in total yardage, then in third down stops, red zone efficiency, and interceptions. That's how impactful this addition could be. Would you bet it all on Jair Alexander? Would you move Newsome or Emerson to make it happen? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Go Browns! Can you fathom that a quarterback who tumbled from a projected first-round selection to a fifth-round afterthought might become trade bait before even taking a single professional snap? Welcome to the Cleveland Browns, where drama never takes a nap and the quarterback carousel spins faster than a turbocharged blender. The situation in Ohio is absolutely electric. According to reports from Heavy.com and swelling speculation across NFL media circles, the Browns are allegedly considering a blockbuster trade that would reverberate across the league. Shedeur Sanders plus a fourth-round draft pick to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for Anthony Richardson. That's right, the Shedeur Sanders, who was once touted as a potential top 5 pick before plummeting to the 5th round due to attitude questions, suspect interviews, and what some scouts called red flags bigger than caution tape. The timing of this rumor is borderline surreal. We're talking about a rookie who hasn't even completed his first minicamp, hasn't thrown a single pass in anger, and he's already being dangled as trade fodder. Here comes the juicy, poetic irony that makes this story prime NFL drama. Joe Flacco, the 40-year-old journeyman who single-handedly salvaged the Browns' 2023 season from implosion, is witnessing this entire circus unfold with that trademark sardonic grin only a Super Bowl MVP can deliver. This isn't your garden variety off-season chatter. This trade speculation is gasoline on an already roaring fire. The Browns' quarterback room is more crowded than a Black Friday sale at Walmart. Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Sanders, and the looming specter of Deshaun Watson, nursing 2 Achilles tears and carrying a $230 million 0 cents guaranteed contract that's aging like a milk carton in the sun. Let's relish the comedic gold in this situation. Joe Flacco's reactions alone deserve an Emmy. First, the revelation that had me doubled over in laughter. Flacco admitted he only found out about the Browns drafting Sanders when his wife casually mentioned it, like telling him the dog needed a bath. Picture it, the same man who rescued Cleveland's season from quarterback purgatory, discovering his supposed heir apparent through spousal notification. The deadpan delivery, pure gold. But then, pure comedic platinum. During a recent OTA, Sanders asked Flacco if he'd ever hit that dance and proceeded to demonstrate some TikTok-worthy moves that probably already have their own hashtags. Flacco's response was delivered with all the enthusiasm of a parking meter. Definitely not! I don't think I've ever done a public dance move in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shakespearean-level comedy. On one side, you've got Shedeur Sanders, the Colorado prince dripping in diamond chains worth more than most people's cars, wearing designer fits that could pay my mortgage twice over, and flexing viral dances before the play even ends. On the other, Joe Flacco, a man who's been throwing NFL spirals since Sanders was memorizing multiplication tables and who treats dancing like it's radioactive waste that might contaminate his quarterback aura. The generational divide isn't just visible, it's a Grand Canyon of difference. When reporters baited Flacco into discussing his mentor role with the rookies, he flat out declared, "Look, I'm here to win football games, not run a daycare center." The man refuses to accept the veteran babysitter role because he genuinely believes he's still the best quarterback in that room, and he might just be right. This dynamic is creating locker room chemistry that's part sitcom, part documentary. Sanders even admitted he's starstruck seeing Flacco every day, while Flacco treats Sanders like an interesting science experiment that he's observing with academic detachment. Here's where things get controversial, where Browns fans might either dance in the streets or burn their jerseys in effigy. Let's unpack this potential Richardson trade from every possible angle, because this move could shape Cleveland's next decade. The case for the trade is actually stronger than many realize. Anthony Richardson was the 4th overall pick in 2023, and that draft capital doesn't just vanish into thin air because of rookie struggles. Yes, he struggled mightily with accuracy, A brutal 47.7% completion rate last season that made Chad Pennington look like Aaron Rodgers. And yes, he got benched for Joe Flacco in Indy faster than you can say franchise quarterback. But the physical tools, they're absolutely undeniable. Frankly, terrifying for opposing defenses. We're talking about a 6'4", 244-pound athletic marvel who can effortlessly launch 70-yard bombs and clock a legitimate 4.4-second 40-yard dash that makes linebackers question their life choices. His arm talent is elite tier, his mobility is game-altering, and his upside remains sky-high despite early struggles. If the Browns made this move, they'd be executing a textbook buy low, sell high strategy, acquiring Richardson while his value is at rock bottom. His contract situation is equally appealing from a front office perspective. Cleveland would control him through 2027 with a fifth-year option, and his base salaries for the next 2 seasons hover just above $1 million, 0 cents each. That's potential franchise quarterback production at a backup price tag. But here's the explosive counterargument that keeps me up at night. Why would you trade away a quarterback already showing tangible promise for one who couldn't beat out Daniel Jones in Indianapolis? Sanders impressed in team drills, completing 7 of 9 passes with 3 touchdowns and 0 picks, while Richardson remains absent from Colts OTAs with mysterious injuries that no one's addressing publicly. The real controversy at the heart of this speculation is that this trade would scream desperation rather than strategic vision. Since returning to the league in 1999, the Browns have been the NFL's quarterback graveyard, an astonishing 40 different starting quarterbacks in 25 years. Shipping off a potential franchise savior before he's had a real opportunity to prove himself would be peak Cleveland Browns chaos. The type of decision that gets general managers fired and sets franchises back half a decade. Here's the twist that absolutely no one saw coming in this soap opera. Joe Flacco might be the single most important piece of this entire puzzle. His wry detachment from the drama makes him the ultimate wild card in Cleveland's quarterback deck. Flacco is now reportedly in pole position to start week 1, according to multiple NFL insiders and beat writers. Just think about the poetic irony of this scenario. While everyone obsesses over rookie potential, trade rumors, and social media followings, the 40-year-old elder statesman is quietly preparing to steal the show for the second time in 3 years. The man who hasn't been a full-time starter since 2017 with Baltimore could very well be the Browns' lifeline yet again. His previous experience with head coach Kevin Stefanski in 2023 gives him a substantial advantage over every other quarterback in that room. He knows the system cold, he understands the expectations, and most importantly, he knows exactly how to win when everything's on the line. While Sanders is still learning how to read NFL coverages and Richardson is nursing mysterious injuries, Flacco is out there delivering precision passes like he's been doing for 18 professional seasons. But here's the savage reality check no one wants to admit. If the Browns actually pull the trigger on this Sanders for Richardson trade, they're effectively admitting that Joe Flacco might be their best realistic option for a 40-year-old quarterback leading a franchise desperate for stability and respectability. That's either the feel-good comeback story of the decade or a recipe for a spectacular train wreck. And the ultimate irony that makes this entire saga perfect? Flacco's steadfast refusal to embrace the traditional mentor role might be exactly what this young, chaotic quarterback room needs. Instead of coddling rookies with empty platitudes, he's showing them through his actions that earning an NFL starting job requires relentless professionalism, unwavering focus, and zero tolerance for nonsense. Let me get the... I hope to God that she is ready to demo for a nonsense No TikTok followers, no draft pedigree, no daddy's coaching connections. That kind of veteran leadership is already paying dividends. Sanders has praised Flacco's work ethic and admitted he's learning more by watching him than from any formal mentoring. Here's my final prediction, and a bold one. This Richardson trade won't actually happen, but the mere rumor itself reveals everything that's fundamentally broken about modern NFL quarterback evaluation and media hype. The Browns would be absolutely foolish to trade Sanders before giving him a real shot in live game action, and Richardson's continued struggles in Indianapolis should be a glaring red flag, not a green light. But mark my words and screenshot this prediction, Joe Flacco is going to have the last laugh in this entire saga. While everyone else obsesses over potential highlight reels and social media buzz, the old man is going to show up, execute the game plan with surgical precision, and probably lead Cleveland to another surprising season that no one saw coming. What's your take? Should the Browns roll the dice on this Richardson trade? Or is this just media manufactured chaos designed to fill the content void? Drop your hottest takes in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more NFL chaos coverage you won't find anywhere else. If you're a die-hard Browns fan and live for dissecting the game like we do, smash that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns offseason has been anything but dull, packed with drama and headline-grabbing stories from start to finish. Fans were on edge with the Myles Garrett trade request dominating the narrative, his roller coaster mega extension saga, and a quarterback carousel spinning out of control. Yet, amid the noise and big-name moves, some of the Browns' savviest decisions might be flying under the radar. While Cleveland didn't chase after the flashy free agents like Milton Williams, they quietly fortified key areas that demanded reinforcements. It's often the subtle, under-the-radar signings that transform a season. And one such move deserves the spotlight: the addition of veteran defensive tackle Malik Collins. This signing may not have grabbed the headlines like Garrett's contract negotiations, but it could ultimately be one of the smartest acquisitions of the offseason. Malik Collins arrives in Cleveland after a somewhat surprising release from the San Francisco 49ers. Despite being under contract for another year, San Francisco severed ties with Collins to free up cap space, especially with massive commitments looming for Brock Purdy and George Kittle. The Browns wasted no time swooping in to sign Collins on a 2-year, $20 million zero-cents deal. This was a strategic move, replacing Dalvin Tomlinson in the heart of the defensive line while adding a seasoned presence to an already formidable front. Collins brings a wealth of experience and proven pass-rushing prowess, making him a seamless fit for Cleveland's defensive philosophy. The timing couldn't be better. At 30 years old and entering his 10th NFL season, Collins is far from washed. Over the past 4 years, he has consistently ranked in the top 25% among interior pass rushers, according to Pro Football Focus, earning pass rush grades above 70 each season. In 2024 alone, Collins recorded the 7th best pass rush win rate among all interior defensive linemen, a testament to his ability to collapse the pocket from the inside, a skill that's become invaluable in today's pass-heavy NFL. For the Browns, who prioritize pressuring opposing quarterbacks, Collins could provide the kind of interior disruption that perfectly complements Myles Garrett's explosive edge presence. However, there's one area where Collins has struggled: run defense. Over the past 2 seasons, his run defense grades have hovered in the low 40, ranking him near the bottom of the league. But a change of scenery could ignite a resurgence. Jim Schwartz's defensive scheme in Cleveland is renowned for demanding aggressive north-south penetration from his linemen. Exactly the kind of approach that suits Collins' skill set. With better support and a more favorable scheme, Collins has a legitimate shot at transforming his run defense and becoming a dependable every-down lineman. The Browns' defensive line is poised to be a dominant force again in 2025, and Collins could be a key part of that revival, alongside first-round pick Mason Graham, who profiles as a versatile 3 technique capable of defending both the run and the pass. Collins can be unleashed in pass rushing situations where his talents shine brightest. Pairing him with Garrett and Graham creates a terrifying front that no quarterback wants to face. While Collins might not be the flashiest name or the biggest headline, his knack for generating interior pressure and disrupting plays can swing games in Cleveland's favor. It's a classic example of a front office masterstroke one that doesn't make waves in the offseason, but pays massive dividends when the games count. The Browns didn't need to throw around cash or chase headlines to improve their roster. Instead, they identified a proven veteran, secured him at a reasonable price, and now have the flexibility to deploy him within Schwartz's aggressive system. These kinds of nuanced, strategic moves are what separate playoff contenders from pretenders. If Collins performs to his potential, Cleveland's defense could be even more formidable than people expect. What makes this signing even more intriguing is how perfectly it aligns with Jim Schwartz's defensive blueprint. Schwartz's scheme prioritizes speed and relentless penetration, with linemen tasked to attack gaps and collapse pockets. Collins is tailor-made for this role, excelling at getting into the backfield and creating havoc for quarterbacks. His veteran presence will also be invaluable to younger linemen like Mason Graham as Cleveland builds a unified, aggressive front. Leadership and experience on defense are priceless, and Collins brings both. Of course, there's always risk in signing a 30-year-old defensive lineman. Players at this stage can start to show wear and tear. The Browns will need to manage his snaps wisely, but if Collins can stay healthy and continue producing consistent pressure, he'll offset the loss of Tomlinson in a big way. This move underscores the Browns' ability to be savvy with their cap space, targeting veterans who still have plenty left in the tank. Collins could easily emerge as one of the best value signings of the offseason. As the 2025 season approaches, Browns fans should keep an eye on how the team deploys Collins across various defensive looks. Expect him to be a staple in passing downs, where his interior disruption skills can wreak havoc. His presence allows Garrett and the entire defense to elevate their game to another level. Thank you guys. See you next video.